Hello friends, welcome to 2D Games with Unity tutorial series. Let me double click on Unity icon. Let me click on Unity 2D demo project to open it in Unity IDE. In the previous tutorial, we understood what is pivot, what is center control. You can see that if I move the mouse over the center control, it says the tool handle is placed at the center of the selection. Whereas if I switch to pivot and move the mouse cursor, it says the tool handle is placed at the active object's pivot point. So this control controls where the tool handles or tool gizmos should be placed at the selected game object. Whether the tool handles or gizmos placed at the pivot point of the selected game object or the tool handle is placed at the center of the selected game object. Next we have a control called as global and local. We are going to discuss why we have global and local control here. Also we understood in the previous tutorial how the pivot affects the translation, rotation and scaling the game object. Now we are going to discuss local and global control. In Unity we have two different spaces, local space and global space. Local space is also called as self-space, self-coordinate system you can say, or local coordinate system. Whereas there is a global space also. Global space is also called as world space or world coordinate system or global coordinate system. There is a difference between global coordinate system and the local coordinate system. There is a difference between global space and the local space. Global space or a world coordinate system will not change, whereas local coordinate system or self-space or a self-coordinate system is going to change with respect to the rotation of the game object. That means here I have a player. You can see that I bought a player inside and the player has the pivot set to center and it is placed properly in the scene at the origin. Now we know that Unity has the coordinate system. That coordinate system we say as a world coordinate system or a global coordinate system. The world coordinate system or Unity's coordinate system says that the positive x-axis is towards right, negative x-axis is towards left, positive y-axis is towards up, negative y-axis is towards down. Every game object that you create, it is also going to have its own coordinate system. Now that coordinate system is known as local coordinate system or local space. Now local space is going to change with respect to the rotation of the game object. Let me explain now. I am going to tell to the system that on the player I want to place a translation gizmo at the center with respect to the global space. So if I click on that, you can see that it has placed the translation gizmo at the center of the selected game object with respect to the global coordinate system. You can see that the red arrow is pointing towards positive x-axis, the green arrow is pointing towards positive y-axis. So everything is perfect, no problem. Similarly, this game object is going to have its own coordinate system. As I told that it is going to have a local space. The local coordinate system is also same. The red arrow is going to point towards the x-axis, positive x-axis. The green arrow is going to point towards the positive y-axis. So both are same. But I tell to the system now that place the rotation tool at the center of the image at the global coordinate system. So I place it. You can see that it has placed properly the rotation gizmo and I am going to rotate it by 45 degrees. I rotate it by 45 degrees around z axis, 45 degrees. You can see that z rotation we set to 45 degrees. Now let's understand. This time I am going to tell to the system to place the translation tool on the player at the center of the selected game object with respect to the global coordinate system. So if I place it, so you can see that it has placed the translation gizmo with respect to the global coordinate system. The red arrow is pointing towards positive x-axis, the green arrow is pointing towards positive y-axis, and if I move, the game object moves like this. Whereas if I tell to the system to place the translation gizmo at the center of the player and with respect to the local space, check out what happened. It has placed with respect to the local coordinate system of the player. We know that the local coordinate system changes with respect to the rotation. Now as we have rotated player by 45 degrees, its coordinate system also rotated by 45 degrees. So you can see that red arrow is pointing in this direction. It is not pointing towards right, whereas it is pointing in some other direction. The green arrow is pointing in this direction. Now with respect to the local coordinate system or a self space, if I try to move the player, it moves like this. Whereas if I change to the global, if I try to move, it moves like this. If I change it to the local coordinate system, if I try to move, it moves like this. So local coordinate system, positive x-axis is this side, negative x-axis is this side, positive y-axis is this side, negative y-axis is this side. If I rotate this again the local coordinate system changes. So you should understand the difference between the local coordinate system and the global coordinate system, how the object translates with respect to the local coordinate system, how the object translates with respect to the global coordinate system. Because when we work in a game, most of the time we work in local coordinate system and we also work in world coordinate system. So we should understand how the object translates when you change local to global, global to local. Let's move further. Let me reset everything back. So now we are reset everything. Now local is also same, global is also same. Similarly, the rotation also affects with respect to global and local. So how do you want to rotate? It again depends. Now let me tell to the system that I want to place a rotation tool at the center of the selected game object in the global coordinate system. It has placed properly. Now if I rotate around the y-axis, it rotates like this. No problem. Perfect. Let me reset everything back. Now Z I set up to 45 degrees. So we have rotated. Now we have the global coordinate system. Global coordinate system is not changed. If I rotate around y-axis, it rotates like this. No problem. Same. Whereas if I change this to local, check out. As we have the x in this direction, y in this direction, the local x, local y is in this direction, the rotation is going to be different. If I say rotate around y-axis, it is going to rotate like this. Check this out. If I say rotate around x-axis, it rotates like this. It is rotating around local coordinate x-axis. So that is the difference between local and global coordinate system. How the Unity behaves. Hope you guys have understood. Let me reset everything back. So in these toolbars, we have understood all the controls and we also know what is layout. Layout means arrangement of these panels in the Unity IDE. We can save our own layout also. We have seen that already. We left with few things. Here we have a play button and stop button. If you click on that, the game will get played. You can see that we are seeing the game window and we can stop also by clicking the same button. We have here pause and resume button. While playing the game, we can pause. While playing the simulation, we can pause. We can resume back and also we step through each frame. We will understand pause and step through while writing the script, while making the game more detailed, we understand. And the last option we have is the layer drop down box. Now it tells which layers are visible in the scene view. So you have a scene view. In one scene view you can have many layers. You can decide which layer should be visible, which layer should not be visible. By going to this place we can control that. If I go here, let me click on the main camera and you can see the main camera is the default layer. It is in the default layer. If I click on the player is in the default layer. If I go here and say do not display anything available in the default layer, by clicking on this eye symbol, you can see that the player is also hidden, the main camera is also hidden. If I want to make them visible, I click again back. That's it. So we get many different layers. We can create our own layers also by going to this edit layer. We understand layers later, more detail. So for this tutorial, this much is enough, friends. In the next tutorial, we get more information. For more benefits, please subscribe, like, comment and share. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing.